Good game for Alexander today, 7 tackles. Was he pretty consistent all spring?
I would say early he got more consistent. Early, again, new terminology. The hard part for him is over because he really hadn't really played backer, and he did the transition at Alabama. But now he comes here and he's still transitioning to a position, but now it's a new scheme and terminology and all that. So I would say he kind of gained his confidence and consistency as he went. I thought he had a really good day today. Made a couple of tough tackles. Keith Adams. Every time Keith, I didn't even mention Keith. He's hammerhead. I mean, he's just kind of. We have all of our backs, and then you have Keith as like his own person because he's just unique. And when he runs the ball, he punishes people, and I mean, he rarely ever gets stopped. And there was one particular play out there that 35 got up under him, and it was kind of like two bulls running into each other right there. It was good to see. He's physical. He's a thumper, and again, I thought he had a really productive day. He's put a good week or so together, and all those backers. I mean, it's been a fun spring, man. I think D has really improved. We haven't had Kobe out there. We three scholarship guys haven't been out there all spring. No Kobe, no Jamal Anderson, and no Logan Anderson, who's our signee, who we're really excited about. None of those guys were out there. So all those guys have made a jump. C.J. Cooper-Taylor is a thumper. He's shown some signs. Woodaz is cutting down on his mistakes and getting better. And so the whole group, I think, took a good step forward. And then, a kid named Fletcher Cothran, who's on year 4 with us out of T.L. Hanna, he's done a lot of work, and he's a productive guy. He came in here weak and probably about 199 pounds, 200. Now he's about 225. He's strong. He's long, and he's a hitter. So, I was pleased with him. We got some of those guys, the depth guys that will probably have to be core special teams guys for us too. We got a kid named Roberto out there. Same thing. He's a kid that flashes. Had some offers coming out of high school. Wanted to kind of come in here and give it a shot. Griffin Batts, another guy that's played some special teams for us. So we kind of the back part of our backers. It's a pretty good group, and Fletcher's a guy that's kind of got up in there and competed with everybody. Sammy, I think, has taken a really good step forward. Obviously, Woodaz is a guy we really believe in. So the group has made some strides, but same thing. They just gotta keep doing. It's a big summer. These guys have got to go through all the installation again. They got to go and get through all of our skills and drills. That's where a lot of the growth comes, and then just do a lot of the work on their own. I always tell them that that's championships are won and champions are made when nobody's watching. What are you doing in private? There's just a lot of work that everybody's got to do individually, and be back ready to roll in August. But I'm pleased with the work we got done.
Saw Mayo flash a couple times a day.
Yeah.
How's his spring been?
Yeah, he's gotten better, and he's stronger. He was, obviously he's got great measurables, but, kind of weak as water when he got here. Just a big, long guy, he wasn't able to come until the summer. So power hour was huge for him, and it's really paid off. I mean, he's strong, stronger. He has a much better understanding of what we're asking him to do, and just did what he needed to do. Everybody's either got an arrow up, they kind of stayed the same, or the arrow's down, and the arrow's up. By Mayo. And we didn't have Ari. We didn't have him out there this spring, but we know what we got. We're really proud of Will Helt, and I think Jaheim has had a good spring. And, I feel good. Denhoff was having a good spring, and he had an injury that he had to deal with. So I feel good about the upper group. So we really forced the issue with some of those younger guys, Marcus Dixon, Darian Mayo, really challenging them. We got Armand Mason back. He didn't get the whole spring, but he got the last week or so.
Didn't see Tavoy Fegan out there. Any update on him?
Yeah, he just was not out there.
Coach, you mentioned Grady Jarrett being here. Do you expect any D linemen to be like Grady Jarrett, probably better?
Oh boy, I don't know about that. Grady's on the. He's kind of one of one. Grady's special, and I sure hope so. Though I hope we'll have some guys that have the. We got guys that have a lot better measurables than Grady Jarrett. We got a bunch of them. We got a bunch of guys that look like they need to be playing for the Bears. Grady don't look that part. He don't look the part, but he plays it. That's what's great about this game. You don't always necessarily look the part, but when they don't check your IDs on Friday nights, all right? They don't care if you're 14 or 18, who can play the game. And they don't check your combine, records when you step on the field. And that's just, Grady's just a baller. I mean, when he gets on the field, he's 6'5", 310 and runs 4.6. That's who he is. That's how he thinks. That's how he plays. He's special. So but what makes him special is what's inside. He's unique. That guy's wired different.
You said you wanted to see those young linemen in this environment. How did you think they did today?
It was good. They had a couple little hiccups, but it's just good to see Braden Jacobs out there. I mean, Lord have mercy. He's getting off the bus first for sure. He is a giant. And he's out there, and, he's having to go against TJ, and he's going against Jaheim and all these guys. And really proud of him. I mean, those guys, Mason Wade, Easton Ware, we got Rowan Byrd, little Gavin Blanchard. I say little because he's small next to Braden, but, man, Gavin Blanchard is a kid that's really done a nice job this spring. He's going to be a good inside player for us. He's tough. He's competitive. But it's good. I mean, you can't quantify that. To throw them out there and to get the reps that they've been able to get this spring is going to really pay off for us. Sadler is, really good, but he wasn't able to go live this spring. Tristan wasn't able to go live this spring. We didn't have Walker Parks. We didn't have Watson Young. We didn't have Ian Reed. We didn't have Dietrich Pennington. There was a lot of guys. And so, but that freed up a bunch of reps for those young guys. And Matt Luke he rode them like mules. And they're all better because of it.
They're great performances on the offensive side. Big stops, getting in the backfield on the defensive side. Which side of the ball would you say won today?
The score. The offense won from a score standpoint, but I thought one real positive of the day defensively. First of all, they created 3 takeaways. They had some sacks and TFLs, but I thought the first group they didn't give up scores in the red zone. They held them to field goals. That was really good to see. And I think there was one. It was either first and goal on the 1 or 2, and held them to a field goal. And that's an area that we have to be better at this year, is red zone defense and just holding. When you win on red zone defense, you hold them to a field goal. That's a win. You either get a stop on downs, you turn them over, or you hold them to a field goal. If they don't get a touchdown, that's a win. That's a win. People are going to make plays, and the ball will get moved. But you have to be able to be. And honestly, it should be the hardest place to score because the field is small. There's no threat of running by you, right? It's a smaller field, and it's just we ought to be as good as anybody in the country. And so we've worked really hard on that this spring, and that was a real positive. So I thought there was just a lot of good. And again, we mixed and matched, got everybody the reps that we needed to get, all 3 offenses, all 3 defenses. And I think everybody that was on the sideline eventually got in the game, I believe. So it was just a good, productive day, and fun to see them compete in that type of environment.
How about being able to convert on 2-minute drill at the end of each half?
Yeah, that was good. The last one was a little funky because obviously you have the lead, so So we just said let's treat this as an end of half, and we probably would have clocked it on the 12 seconds there in the real world. Got the first down, clock it, but we really, you think, okay, because you probably could 10 seconds still get 2 plays, but it was good. It was a good experience. That all worked out really good. Just naturally, we got some good 2-minute opportunities, and we made it a normal clock when we got in those. There was some running clock in the second, third, and fourth quarter, but when we got into 2-minute drives, we just let it be normal. So you keep creating good habits.
You talk about the impact of the 2 big transfers today, Smith and Alexander. Talking to Smith earlier, He said just from Jump Street from day one, first meeting with you, he knew this was the place to be. What does it feel like knowing to get two key players from a FCS and a Power 5 school to come here and just make an impact right off the bat?
Well, I mean, we if you're gonna take a guy out of the portal, I mean, you should, you know, if we get it right, we're gonna get a guy that's gonna come help us. And you know, it's not, you know, again, we're a developmental program, and as long as we continue to get the top high school kids that we want and bring them in here and develop them, you know, last year everybody said I need to get rid of Cade Klubnik, and we're never going to win with Cade Klubnik, and he's terrible, and Swinney's crazy, and he's going to go get this hotshot quarterback, and well, now everybody says he's that front runner for the Heisman. It's amazing, you know. That's what I hear, you know. And that's what I told Cade. You better not listen to none of that. Don't listen to all that crap last year that you ain't good enough to get it done, and don't listen till they tell you you're the Heisman guy or you're the whatever. All right, just do the work. All right, and so again, as long as we're getting guys that we think will come in and buy in and develop, that's always the route we go. But if you get a gap in your roster and you have kids leave post spring, or like happened last year where you lose a kid, boom, there's no high school kid to go get of the caliber that we needed, hey, we'll use it. We'll use the portal. And again, we've signed, 5 guys in 5 years. It's probably the fewest of anybody, but they've all fit our need, and they've all been exactly what we needed. And again, we needed a guy just like Tristan, long, a guy that had some confidence, a guy that had some production, and you know, but a guy that also